Okay, in this video we're going to go over a common practice I use all the time, and this actually is going to show you why learning the basics is such a strong thing to do when it comes to a foundation, because basics lead to more advanced things, always, because you start to see the basics within extremely advanced things. So this little exercise that I do all the time with myself is just taking one chord. We're going to take this shape, we'll just consider it right now an altered dominant, a flat 5, flat 7. Now I'll just go write it out without being concerned about the spelling, because a flat 5 would actually be a G flat. We're more concerned with the enharmonic possibilities of this chord. So what scale does this fit under? Start there. Well, the first one I see right away is a whole tone scale. This chord can be part of the whole tone scale as a chord. Looking at it again, it could be Lydian dominant, or just anything related to G melodic minor. All the modes related to that. A shape that would fit there. So you notice something if I just play in melodic minor. Cadence. Works out fine. Now let's do something else. Let's invert the shape. Let's put the F sharp at the bottom. You notice F sharp Lydian dominant, or a chord from C sharp melodic minor. And all the modes, there's a Picardy third, and all the modes belonging to C sharp melodic minor. We can consider it an altered dominant, and its natural resolution would be up a fourth or down a fifth, depending on what direction you're going. Or inverting the shape, again like we did before, that can be considered the tritone substitution to the F chord, or the augmented 6 chord, depending on what key you're in. This is why a strong foundation is important. Looking at the shape again, it's also the augmented 6 to an E-based tonality. French 6, that is. It's the French 6 shape. The inverted shape of the same notes is the French 6 of B flat minor. So this little exercise is helping us spot these particular chords in various situations. Functionally, we know that this altered dominant could lead to this F chord in any form. F major 7th or minor 7th. We could use it as a secondary dominant, altered, and E flat as the, let's go to the 2 chord. The 5 of 2, altered. Here's the 5 of 2, 2, 5, 1. Now let's employ the altered chord in that same situation, same shape. Let's do it like this. 1, altered 5 of 2, 2, 5, 1. Since we know it moves to that F chord so naturally, we can use it, let's say in the key of C, as the 5 of 4. And use it in some kind of chromatic harmony sequence. There's the same shape again, on a different root. The tritone substitution, which, looking at it from a different perspective, is just an altered dominant. So you start to naturally notice these things and where they can go and what you can use. So here's the same shape starting on an F root. Wagner uses this to get to from B flat minor to E minor via a very highly chromatic passage. So it makes spotting this particular shape, not particularly on the same root, easy to identify functionally what it's doing. It's acting like a augmented 6 chord. Now the opening, I used this concept we just talked about in something I was orchestrating. I based everything around this particular chord. And I'm just going to use notation playback because I don't feel like putting this in the sequencer. And that's as far as I'll play it, but this is this concept in action using this actual thing we just learned. I start with the whole tone scale, revolving around this shape. Then it goes to Lydian dominant, revolving around this shape. Again, the same shape. Then it goes back to the whole tone scale. Then this shape is treated as an augmented sixth to E minor. Then it alternates between E minor and that shape, which is a really common thing to do in, let's say, the Romantic era, especially with someone like Tchaikovsky. He would do similar things like this. And it's actually become a trick I like to use a lot. Augmented 6 chord 1, augmented 6 chord 1. So let's end this video. I forgot one more option that I can think of right on the spot. Most altered dominants will fit over a diminished scale. Contains all the tones. Inverted, diminished scale. One more scale to add to the options of what you can use that shape under. So you've heard of common tones, let's say common shapes. So here's an exercise for you. Take this shape or any shape you can think of, like a half diminished, and try to figure out how many different keys that may belong to. You'd be surprised, because you end up spotting these things in places you never would have thought to look if your basics are super strong. If you're interested, I talk a lot about a lot of these things in some of my courses you could find in the links below.